Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. In this video, I will be showing you how I crochet this cute little mesh top. I added a touch of detail to the sleeve and to the bottom. So if this is your style and your vibe, I hope you enjoy this pattern. I had fun creating it. Eek, I'm excited. Hello crochet friends, how is everyone doing today? Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I really appreciate that. Today I will be sharing how I crochet this cute little top for myself. I think this is a fun little summer project. This could make like a nice cute little beach cover up, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I'll be sharing some tips, materials I use, and sizing info about this project. So if you wanted to skip this portion, I'll place a timestamp right here, and you can fast forward to that part of the tutorial where I actually begin to show you how to do it. So let's see. Let's begin with the yarn. So I used a size 3 lightweight yarn for this, and I used a brand called Loops and Thread. And although it's acrylic, it's very soft. I've used this brand many times before, and I've never had an issue with it being too rough on my skin. So if you don't have too sensitive of a skin, I would recommend this yarn. It's very soft. And I did use a size 4mm crochet hook for this project. And I would consider this project intermediate, maybe slightly advanced, only because of the edging here and the sleeves. There's a decrease round here, and this edging here is called front post, back post double crochet. So I used it on the edging of the sleeves and on the bottom of the top of the crochet top. So that's why I would consider this intermediate level. But if you didn't want to do this, you can always just do single crochet or just regular double crochet. It doesn't have to be front post, back post. And as far as sizing, let's see. This top measures about 17 inches across, and let's see, from the neckline to the bottom, yeah, about 17 inches as well. And then keep in mind that there is a bit of a stretch to it. And I would consider this top maybe a small medium size. I made this for myself, and just for reference, I'm 5 feet tall, and I'm about 120 pounds. Just for reference, and this is slightly baggy on me, which I do like, just so I can wear a top under it. I like it more on the loose fitting. I like the loose fitting look on this. So for sizing, if you wanted to make this smaller or larger, you can always adjust your foundation chains. For example, this size, here is my first round. Not that this is the edging here I did after I was done. So my foundation chain, I did a foundation chain of 80, and then starting from the second chain from the hook, I did 79 single crochets across. So I am working with 79 stitches for this size. But if you wanted to size up or size down, I just recommend when you do your initial chains, make sure that number is an even number. So when you begin your single crochets from the second chain from the hook, you'll end up with an odd number. And that's what we're working with. We're working with an odd number here. So it's easily adjustable. And also, you can also create a different look. You don't have to add this many rows like I did. Like my front panel of the mesh, there's 40 rows on the front panel and 40 rows on the back. But if you wanted to make it a little bit more crop, you can just deduct some rows here, or if you wanted to make it longer for like a cardigan, you can just add rows. So for this, this pattern, I'm actually going to make another one in this pretty yarn. I just purchased this from my local craft store and I just fell in love with the color and the sparkle. I'm a sucker for sparkle, anything sparkly, I'm like, ooh. So I'll be making another one like this, except I'll be making it in a long sleeve. So I think that'll look cute. Alrighty, friends, enough of me babbling on. Let's get started. Let's grab our yarn and our hook and make a cute crochet top. For this project, I'll be using a size 3 yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. I'm going to begin by making a slip knot on my hook, and then I'm going to do a chain of 80. I'm going to go ahead and do my chains, and I'll meet you when I'm done. Here are my chains. And now for this first round, we're going to do 1 row of single crochet. So starting from the second chain from the hook, insert your hook into that second chain and do a single crochet. And we're going to do a single crochet in each chain all the way down. And this will total 79 single crochets for this round. I'll go ahead and finish this up and I'll meet you when I'm done. Here is my first row. Now we're going to work on the mesh or the netting portion. So after you're done, do a chain of 3 and turn your work. This chain 3 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. So now to begin the mesh or the netting portion, we're going to do a double crochet in the 3rd stitch. We're going to skip 1, do a double crochet and a chain 1. Skip 1 and a double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So that's all the pattern is. And complete this all the way down, totaling 80 double crochets, and you will end with a double crochet and not a chain 1. So I'll meet you at the end. I completed my first round of netting. Now let's do a chain 3 and turn our work. And the chain 3s on the beginning of these rounds always count as a double crochet and a chain 1. So now we're going to begin our pattern, and we always insert our hook into the second opening. Always skip that first one. So insert your hook into the opening to do your second double crochet. Chain 1, insert your hook into the next opening there. Chain 1. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way down, totaling 40 double crochets, and you will always end with a double crochet and not a chain 1. The end of these rounds is also a little different. So when you get to the end of the round, I will show you where to insert the last double crochet. So here I am approaching my my last 2 double crochets. So here is my double crochet. I insert it into the last opening, chain 1, and the last double crochet will go at the top of the chain 2. 1 and 2. There you go. And chain 3 and turn your work and repeat the process. So at the beginning of the round, always remember to skip that first gap and insert your hook into the second one. And at the end of the round, finish your last double crochet at the top of chain 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do 40 rows of netting. So I've done 2 so far. I'm working on my row 3, so I'll do 40, and then I'll meet you at the end of my 40 rows. Okay everyone, so I completed my 40 rows of mesh here. We have 40 rows of mesh plus the 1 row at the bottom of single crochet that we did at the beginning. So now it is time to work on the neck opening and the shoulder sleeves. So for our row, we have a total of 40 double crochets with chain 1s in between. So we are working with a total of 79 stitches across. So I'm going to even them out by having 19 stitches on the right and 19 stitches on the left, with a chain of 41 in between for the neck opening. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off my round as usual, and when you have done 9 double crochets, I will do a chain of 41 and then insert my hook into the 9th opening from the end and finish my pattern. So with the 19 stitches on each side and the 41 chains, that totals 49 stitches as well. So here we go. To begin, just go ahead and do the pattern as usual. And then when you get to your 9th double crochet, do a chain of 41. Here's my 9th double crochet on one side. Now I'm going to do a chain of 41. That's for the neck opening. And then after I do my chain of 41, I will insert my hook into the 9th opening from the end. I added a stitch marker there to help me out. So do a double crochet into that opening and then just continue the pattern as usual. So all of these stitches will total 79 for this round. I wanted to mention a little side note here about the neck opening. If you think this is too large for you, or you wanted a smaller neck opening, you can also just add double crochets on each end, even amount on both sides, to create a smaller neck opening. Or if you wanted a skinnier strap here, you can always remove these. And also, if you're making this in a different size, if it's a different chain count, the way I divide my chains is, first I decide on my look if I wanted a skinny shoulder strap or a wider one. But let's say, for example, if I just wanted something skinnier, let's say just 4 double crochet, so the strap will be this thin. I just make sure that I have 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. And everything in between, I will skip and just make one big chain count. And that's how you do it. So it really doesn't matter the size or the chain count that you're doing. You can always just evenly distribute the chains on each side and the neck opening. So that's how I do it. Alrighty, so moving on. Now I'm going to do another 40 rows of this netting for the back panel. And here, what I do, I already did my chain 3. Okay, so we reach the end of that first strap or sleeve. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the chains here now. So here are the chains that we created. Make sure they're not twisted. Okay. So here is my double crochet. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the next chain to do my next double crochet. Just do it into the chain there. And then you're just going to continue the pattern as usual, except you're going to be working in the chains. You're going to be working in every other chain. There you go. Chain one, skip one, into the next chain. Skip the next chain. Skip the next chain. There you go. And just continue the pattern, and I will meet you at the end of the chains. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of the chains. Just wanted to show you what it looks like. I'm not done with the row yet, but so far this is what it looks like. So in between the chains here, you should have a total of 21 double crochets in the chain portion, and then 9 double crochets at the very beginning before you started working on the chains, and then there are 10 left to go. So all of that totals the 40 double crochets for this round. There we have it. Alrighty, so 39 rounds to go to do the back panel. So after I do my 39 rows, I will meet you at the end. Again, it's the same pattern as the front panel. So I will see you at the end of the next 39 rows. This is row 1 of 40 that we just completed. So I'm going to do 39 more rows. Alrighty, I meet you when I'm done. Okay everyone, so I completed my 40 rows of netting, or the mesh portion, for this other half, and this is what it looks like so far. And as you can see, I added stitch markers on each side there, so when we fold this in half, we'll be sewing up the sides there, and then this portion here, this is the opening for the sleeves, for the arms. And then our next step would be to do 1 row of single crochet right here, just like we did at the very beginning. But this is what it's looking like so far. Alrighty, let's keep it moving. Okay folks, after completing the 40 rows of the mesh, or the netting portion here, we're now going to do 1 row of single crochet. And for this row, we're going to do a total of 79 single crochets. So after you're done with this last row, chain 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to insert our hook into that first double crochet to do our first stitch. Here's our first single crochet, and you're going to do single crochets in between the gaps here. There's a chain 1 in each one, so you just insert your hook directly into the opening there. 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go, just 1 row of single crochet all the way down, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay everyone, I completed my row of single crochet here. I fastened off and I left a very long tail. This is maybe anywhere between 4 to 5 feet. I don't know, maybe it's overkill on the length, but I rather have enough yarn than to run out. So here is what this project looks like. I folded it in half. Here is the neck opening, and I added these stitch markers. I did 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. These stitch markers, I placed them on row 20 of the mesh, starting from the bottom. So here is row 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth, all the way to row 20. So this is row 20, this is row 20, and we're going to whip stitch this portion close from here to the bottom. And this will be the neck, the arm opening. And you know, if you wanted to make this larger, you can always drop this stitch marker. You can make it lower, so it could be a little larger, or if you wanted this a little smaller, you can always move these up, just like that. And this part here, friends, is very easy. It's just simple whip stitch. Alrighty, so I will take my tapestry needle, turn my project this way, and we can sew this small part here. Alrighty, so I'll begin by just attaching the corners. Here's the front panel and the back panel, and I will just attach it just like that. Alrighty, so I try to align, well, not try, actually do. I align the rows together. So here is row 1 of this side and row 1 of the other side. And here is the opening. So what I like to do is I will do 2 whip stitches in this gap. Here's 1 and 2. So I'll do 2 inside the gap, and then I will do 1 at the top of the double crochet. Here's this double crochet. I'll insert my needle at the top of that one and the top of the one in the back. There we go, just like that. Then move on to the next row, align those 2. There we have it. And then do 2 whip stitches in this one. 1 and 2. And that's all. And then the top of that double crochet at the front and back. And it's as simple as that. There we have it. Right here. Alrighty, so go ahead and whip stitch all from here all the way to your stitch marker. And when you get to this row, just weave in your ends and then snip off the excess. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this part and the other side, and I'll meet you when we're done. To attach the new yarn on the other side, I just insert with my tapestry needle, I just attached the 2 corners, and once they were looped, I made a whole bunch of knots on here. Just old-fashioned knots, just like that. And then I'll take my tapestry needle and just weave this in to hide it and continue the process. Just wanted to share that quick tip. Okay, folks, I completed my whip stitching. Both sides are closed. And here's what the inside looks like. Here's where we did our whip stitching, so that's the wrong side. And here's the right side out. So I turned my project inside out. And I'm going to add some sleeves. And the sleeve is the same mesh or netting pattern. And you know what, folks, if you feel like you like the way this looks without the sleeves, you know, I think it looks super cute just the way it is now. This will be like a really cute beach cover up. But I wanted to add some sleeves just for fun. And if you're doing it like me in this size, we are going to do a total of 41 double crochets around this arm opening. And it's the same netting pattern, double crochet, chain 1, So here is the arm opening, and here's where we stop. This is row 20 of where we added our stitch marker from before to sew this part closed. So I will insert my hook into the next one here. Grab my yarn and hook and pull it through. And I'm going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And this counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And we're just going to repeat the pattern in each row around this opening. So here's our first one, and double crochet into the next opening, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, there you go. And you will have a total of 41 all the way around. So complete the pattern, and I will meet you at the end of this round on the other side. Here I am approaching the end of this first round. Here's my last double crochet. This is double crochet, chain 1. This is number 41. So here's the beginning of my round, and I will just, I'm sorry, it's this one. I will just insert my hook directly into that opening, slip stitch, and chain 3. And that's it. So there should be 41 of these double crochets around. And then you just continue the pattern for the next round, just like before. Insert your hook directly into the opening, double crochet, chain 1. There's round 2. Okay, my friends, I'm going to do a total of 5 rounds of this. Here's round 1, round 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll meet you at the end of round 5. Folks, I finished my 5 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this next round, we are going to do a decrease round. So with the 41 double crochets and the chain 1s in between, it totals 82 stitches around. So for the next row, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease all the way around, totaling 55 stitches. So here is my first one. Here's the first, would be the first stitch right here, single crochet. And to do a decrease in this row, we would be doing a single crochet decrease. And to do that, I will insert my hook into the stitch, pull the yarn, insert my hook into the next stitch, pull the yarn, then yarn over and pull through all the loops. And there you go. You combine 2 stitches into 1. Single crochet and decrease. Single crochet. Oops. And decrease. There you go. So complete the pattern all the way around until you have a total of 55 stitches, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so now for the next row, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch around. Here we go. So this chain 2 at the beginning, for me, it does not count as a double crochet. So we'll put our hook back into that first stitch and do a double crochet. Very easy. Let's do a double crochet in each stitch, just double crochet, no chain one, just a double crochet in each stitch. We're going to do a really cool little detail here. After this one, we're going to do front post, back post double crochet after this one. I like the way it looks. It adds a nice little touch of detail. So go ahead and do a double crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end. Here I am. I completed my row of double crochet, and now we're going to do something called front post, back post double crochet. And normally we would yarn over and insert our hook right here on the top of the chain, on the top of the double crochet, like you normally would do a double crochet, but instead we're going to wrap our hook around the post to create this very neat detail to the sleeve. So here we go. Chain 2, and my chain 2 does not count as a double crochet, and here's the chain 2 right here of the previous row, so that one doesn't count, so just ignore that. So let's yarn over and do a front post. So we're going to insert our hook in between these openings here. So here's the front, and we're going to wrap our yarn around the post just like that, pull the yarn and do a double crochet. The back post is you yarn over, and now you go through the back like that, and now the hook, as you can see, is facing us. You pull the yarn through and do a double crochet. So you can see it right here. Here's the front post, it's sticking out, and here's the back post, it's kind of tucked in back there. Here, let's do a few more together because I feel like you can see the effect a little bit more when there's more to the row. Here's front post, and back post. Go through the back, pull the yarn, do a normal double crochet. Front post and back post. You go through the back. So we're just basically working our double crochets around these posts. Front post, back post. There you go, friends. If you don't know how to do this, just take your time. It is kind of odd at the beginning to try to wrap your hook around these posts, but you can do it. It's always a little weird for anyone that's learning how to do this technique. And there you go. It's creating almost like these little bit of a ridge. This ridge right here. Alrighty, here I'll do a few more. Front post and back post. Alrighty, friends, I'll go ahead and finish this round and I'll meet you in that last stitch. Here is my starting chains. Here's my chain 2. I will just insert my hook right into that opening, slip stitch, and chain 2. And we're going to do one more round of front post, back post. But as you can see, the pattern is looking quite nice. I like that little detail there. And you know what, folks, if you feel like you're just learning how to do this stitching, and if it's too much, you know, you don't really have to add this detail to the sleeve. You can kind of create your own look, your own vibe, but just please don't be discouraged because I think this is a great pattern. I like the body of it, and of course you can customize it to any size. So I got one more row here of the front post and back post double crochet. So you can probably see them a little bit better now that I completed that round. You can see them sticking out, the front post. So here we go. Next round. Yarn over, and here's the front post. It sticks out pretty easily. And then just do the same thing. And the back post is tucked in back here. Yarn over and through the back. Just go do that one post. See it? Right there. Pull the yarn through and double crochet. Front post. Oops. There we go. And back post. There you go. Alrighty friends, I'm gonna finish this up and I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay friends, so I finished my sleeve. After I finished that round, I just slip stitch in that first opening where I did my chain 2. I chained 1 and fastened off. And then I just used a tapestry needle to just weave in my end there. And I went ahead and did the other sleeve, and I think it's looking very, very cute. And you know, folks, I wanted to offer just a few words of encouragement. If you feel like the sleeve is a little bit too challenging, especially with the front post and back post, you know, you can always skip that like I mentioned before. And please don't be discouraged if you're off by a stitch count here and there. You know, crochet is art, it's creativity. You know, if you're off 1 stitch count or 2 here and there, it's really not a big deal. I remember when I first started to crochet, oh gosh, maybe about 30 years ago, I used to be very hard on myself when my stitch count wasn't precise. And, you know, here we are 30 years later. I'd like to offer a few words of encouragement for my beginners out there that if you're off here and there, it's really not a big deal. Okay, friends? Okay, so moving on. So now it's time to add some detail to the bottom of the shirt. And just like we did here on the edging, we're going to do a decrease round and 3 rows of double crochet. Okay, here we did 1 row of double crochet and then 2 rows of front post and back post. So that's totaling 3 rows of the double crochet there. So for the bottom of the shirt, the front panel has 79 stitches. So we got 79 in the front and 79 in the back. So that's totaling 158 stitches. And we're going to do a decrease round. So let me insert my yarn right in that very first stitch there. And for this round, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 decrease all the way around. Okay, so let's see. Here is my first one. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to do 1 single crochet and a decrease, just like before. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Complete the pattern all the way around, and at the end you will have a total of 106 stitches. And the ending here is a little different because it is an odd stitch count. So the pattern calls for single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, so forth and so on throughout the round, but you will be ending with 2 single crochets. Okay, so that's the only difference. Here will be your last decrease, and then there'll be 2 stitches left, and those last 2 stitches will be single crochets. Okay, friends, so let's complete this round, and I will meet you at the very end. Here I am at the end of my round. I've got 2 stitches left. And the last 2 will be single crochets. That finishes up that round. Slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet and chain 2. So this last round we just made, it kind of closes out the bottom of the sweater just a little bit. It just kind of cinches it up just a bit. So now we're going to do 1 round of double crochet in each stitch around. So my chain 2 here doesn't count as a double crochet. So there's my first one. We're going to do 1 round of double crochet in each stitch around. And after we're done with this round, we'll do another 2 rounds of front post and back post, just like we did in the sleeve. So that will total 3 rows of double crochet. Okay, friends, I'm going to do my 3 rows and then I will meet you at the end. We're almost there. So I finished my 3 rows of double crochet here. I fastened off and weaved in my end there. And this project is now complete. What do you guys think? I think this top came out super cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this pattern. Please remember to subscribe. And thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye.